Well, here we are again. Happy
Advent.
Advent. Yes,
I
happy
thought maybe there for a
Advent.
second you for
No, I was going to tease
doing a
people and say
pause.
I was going to say happy Hanukkah, but just kidding.
Well, happy Hanukkah
I
too.
know.
I mean, it's the happy Hanukkah for our
But
Jewish friends out there.
super happy Advent to everybody out there.
Yes.
This
Yes.
this is Arthur and Teresa, and this is Reason Together.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been able to be here
It sure
because of work,
has.
and I'm so excited to be here. It's just wonderful.
Actually, we should ask them to pray for us because there's an
Yes.
opportunity. Now, I don't know how big of an opportunity. It probably isn't a super big opportunity, but
Well, it's super to me.
yeah, no, but I mean, it's super big as far as
Right.
the
That's
chances
right.
of you getting it. But we would love for you guys to pray. We have an
Yeah.
opportunity where he can be much closer to home, much like 5 minutes
Like
away versus
99% closer.
Yeah. So this has been a little rough on us. This has been
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
for him to have to drive that kind of those kind of hours.
My heart goes out to all of you out there that have to drive
Yeah.
long distances every day.
Yeah, this has been
be
going
away
on
from
for
your family.
almost
Yeah.
a year now, or no,
Yeah.
over a year now, and it's
Mhm.
just been hard. So I keep us in your prayers.
Amen.
So
What we're going to talk about today in Reason Together is we're going to start out with everybody has seen and heard of Charlie Kirk. Even if you weren't a follower of Charlie Kirk, I wasn't. I didn't really. I didn't like or dislike. I just didn't really know him. Now I saw him in the news, but I didn't really follow him. I didn't really know what he was about, except he was a big political person.
yeah,
And now, interestingly enough, he wrote a book, and the book is called Stop in the Name of God: Why Honoring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life.
yeah, and we've ordered it,
Mm-hmm.
but they said it's coming for us. We ordered it through Amazon. It said it won't be till January 2.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of wondering if
Right.
it's out, but it's not shipped yet. So
Right.
so when we do get it and we'll read it, we'll come on and review it.
And it's really interesting to follow how people are taking Charlie Kirk. As if you watch any of the news, it talks about how Charlie Kirk started to, well, one group says he was really interested in the Sabbath, and that he kept the Sabbath. And what he had said, his own words were, he says, yeah, I put my phone away and I concentrate on my family. Yeah. And a lot of people have taken that he's becoming a Sabbatarian. And you just get back and forth, both camps. No, he's becoming a Jew. No, they saw him in Catholic Mass. All these different things.
Well, no, I mean, he even went and talked to Adventists on, I think, an Adventist television show or something, whatever it was on. I'm not exactly sure, but I saw a clip of it where he was talking to Adventists. So a lot of people think that he was going to become Seventh-day Adventist.
Right. Yeah. And so you see a lot of the podcasters, Adventist podcasters, they go from showing a picture of Charlie Kirk and it's like the doom and gloom. It's like, oh no, is he for real? Is he just, it's like the end of times. It's they're looking in a negative way towards Charlie Kirk.
But what I've seen more is Adventists like ADL, and I mean a whole bunch of them are the Adventist Media Connect, and they're super excited about it. They feel like this is the moment they've been waiting for since their beginning. This is it. They're gearing up for this opportune moment to evangelize the world into the Seventh-day Adventist faith and Sabbatarians. And so I've seen a lot of Seventh-day Adventists. They're trying to really make a big presence on X starting immediately, to start going in there and they're exuberantly evangelizing everyone there.
Yes.
And, but I was going to say it's heating up, but it's not just the Adventists. Everybody's having an opinion. Yeah. In a sense, this is causing the Zionist versus anti-Zionist movements. Everybody's taking. He's giving the Sabbath. Kirk has given the Sabbath now this context of if you're pro-Sabbath, then you are a Zionist and you're pro-Israel and you're a Judaizer, and then you have and of course Ben Shapiro is very pro that, and then you have Candace Owens and I'm not sure if Tucker Carlson has said anything, but I can't even remember all of them. I just pop up and see them once in a while. But now, of course, she has commented on the Sabbath. Candace Owens has commented on the other side of it. No, I'm a Christian. I'm not a Sabbatarian. That's Judaism. So they've now taken this Sabbath issue and they've created this. You're either pro-Jew and you're for the Sabbath, but if you're not for the Sabbath, then you're anti-Jew, which I think is very interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A lot of Adventists are seeing it as a fulfillment, like you had said. They look at it as a fulfillment of Revelation.
Yeah.
Which I can't figure that one out.
Well, I mean, okay, if this is okay, they're going to be able to stick it into prophecy in any way. But at this moment, if this is a fulfillment of prophecy, then it's the opposite of what they think is going to happen, because people are becoming very pro-Sabbath. People who have no intention of ever becoming a Seventh-day Adventist are going, yay, hurrah, this is great. We should start keeping the Sabbath any day of the week.
Right.
Any day of the week, not necessarily on Sabbath, but even the people that are they're keeping it on the seventh day of the week. They're not necessarily going towards Adventism and all that Adventism thinks. And so this is going to be interesting, because what are they going to say about Sabbatarians who stay Sabbatarians but then go to church on Sunday, who rest on Sabbath?
That's right.
And they're very, very pro-Sabbath, but they are not pro giving up worshiping any other day.
Yes, they're seeing it as a Sabbath. If you use the term correctly, a Sabbath is a quitting of
cessation.
A cessation. And they're using it as a cessation for the internet or their phones and getting together with their family. Yeah. And it really has nothing to do with anything religious. They just use it. In fact, I watched a movie. It's called The Tomorrow War. It's a sci-fi movie. In it, it's so funny. The aliens who are attacking the Earth have a Sabbath.
Oh, really?
And on the Sabbath, they don't attack the humans.
That is interesting.
So that's what I'm saying. The term Sabbath is not utilized. It's utilized in many different ways.
Yeah.
And that's the way, when you listen to the things Charlie Kirk said about the Sabbath, that's kind of how he's using it. He's using it as a general statement of, you need a day of the week that you take a rest.
Yeah. Well, I will have to read the book to find out.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to read it just to see.
Yeah, to see how far it goes. But if going this direction, there's no persecution of Adventists in store.
No.
You know what I mean? The only way there could be, if we could look at what's going on right now, is if all of a sudden Sabbatarians were seen as pro-Israel, and then they were going to be persecuted, not for their Sabbatarianism, but for being pro-Israel by people who are very not pro-Israel. But anyway, I don't see. But another thing I've been seeing, there have been some people that are getting on X, and they are really pushing it. They're saying you can't be a Christian and you're not a following God if you're not a Seventh-day Sabbatarian.
Right.
They're really going out there and just very proselytizing and making it a salvific issue. Right. And what's happening then is there are people that are pushing back and saying, wait. Even if I went to church on the Sabbath or the seventh-day Sabbath, I don't necessarily think it's a salvation issue. And so they're getting some pushback, and then all of a sudden there are people are, oh, see, persecution.
That's right. Because you disagree with my concept of the Sabbath. Yeah.
That's right. So
that's not persecution. I'm sorry.
But anyway, so they are getting some people saying, no, you're not being Christian if you keep the seventh-day Sabbath, which I don't agree with. I personally don't agree with at all. I think it's okay for you to keep the Sabbath if you want to. I think that's very biblical. Keep it or don't keep it. So, but anyway, I thought that was just kind of an interesting.
And so we'll give a more thorough explanation once the book comes out.
Yeah.
To really be able to talk. We're just more or less giving you concepts and things that we've seen on X and YouTube and
that are of interest for all our Adventist. Our Adventist friends. So, but the real purpose of us talking is about modesty.
Modesty.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming quite the popular thing with several pastors and people on the internet I've noticed. Talking about modesty.
I would say this is the first time in several generations people have talked about modesty. It was not spoken about when we grew up. I mean, there were like the little old lady, maybe that, oh, that's not modest. But in general, nobody's talked about it.
No.
And the reason I feel like I can discuss this very openly.
Not until we were actually in college.
No. Well, I know. I would say that I never had anybody, but just the little old lady, and maybe a little old lady or two would go, oh, that's not modest.
Right.
And nobody paid attention to them. We all ignored them. We all just put our blinders on and go, yeah.
Right.
So modesty has become, for young people, the norm, which for sure wasn't that way.
Right.
No, when we were young, it wasn't that way at all.
No.
Now, I thought it would be interesting because, I'm going to give you my story of modesty and how I used to think.
Okay.
And why this, if girls are thinking like this is what needs to be debunked. So when I was young, I loved, before I was married, 16 through 20, maybe even more, I thought that I didn't know what was sexy. I didn't think, oh, I'm sexy. I can wear, as a matter of fact, I didn't think I was sexy. And so for me to wear something that had really short dresses or low necklines or showing, more tight stuff, I did not think of myself as sexy. And so it would never have occurred to me that what I wore was sexy. I would have said, it may be inappropriate, but you wouldn't go to church in shorts. But it's, who's going to look at you? Who's looking? That's what I used to think. So I think that this is where we need to come from it. The women back when I was young, I think we were very naive.
Mm-hmm.
I think most men and women think very differently about the topic of lust. This was, my generation was raised with Barbie dolls in the 60s and 70s, where women wore extremely short shorts and short dresses. And it was the go-go time. And let me tell you, we all dressed extremely immodestly. And let me tell you how I would think about this. See, I thought that was how you could lead a man into loving you, was through getting, and I didn't think, I want him to lust after me. I just said, you use your body to get a man's attention, and that eventually you could draw him in through giving him peep shows on your body. Right. And then when I was a young woman, the movie Pretty Woman came out. And this is what we used to think. The slutty looking girls could get a very wonderful, successful man to fall in love with them. by looking that way. That's what pretty women taught you. Be a slut and you get the good guy, or you get the main guy, the guy that's everybody wants, the good looking,
billionaire.
Rich. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And really and truly, Arthur, this is why I want to discuss this, because even today, it seems like that's true. The girls of my age constantly saw movies, where the girl's skin was shown and the men thought they were lovely. And the old Westerns, would have the women get up and give an old Western show, and they would, have the
high kick,
the
and cabaret stuff.
Yes. And the Parisian cabarets. And so we would have, even if you looked at Dick Van Dyke, the Dick Van Dyke Show was supposedly a writer that was writing for the Reiner, I can't remember his name on the show, but they were writing for a variety show, and they would have women coming up and doing the dancing, and Danny Kaye's show did, and Bob Hope's show. They all had the girls that would come up in their little outfits and run around, and nobody said anything was wrong with that. Nobody told a girl that was wrong. And look, even Laura Petrie would wear clothes that were extremely sexual. Right. And we just said the even good men, that's how you get a good man, is you have to dress provocatively. And I'm going to say one thing that's going to be even more provocative, but it's true. It's hard to convince a woman that that they should dress modestly, because if you look at Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, if you look at what she wore when she was on Miss Arizona, and what she still continues to wear things that are probably a little bit more provocative than you hear women are supposed. That's what I thought was interesting, is Charlie Kirk did he would go around talking about modesty for women and how men should shouldn't watch pornography and want a good, faithful wife that dresses modestly. But then he goes and marries a woman who wasn't modest.
I mean, I haven't seen the thing with her in her Miss Arizona or whatever it was, but you had told me about it, where it was like ridiculous.
Yeah. And so it's still, women are told today, they're made to believe that if you show your skin, you're going to get a guy's eye, and then you're going to get him to fall madly in love with you, because he's going to see more than your skin once he gets to know you. He'll find out what a wonderful person you are, how funny you are, how wonderful you are. And then once you're married, you can go, it's kind of slide into that traditional lifestyle where you're going to dress nicely because you got your husband. And when you have a young girl, they want men to admire them and to be physically attracted to them. See, they romanticize lust. They don't understand what it is. If girls will even think, they're so romantic that even if a guy ghosts you after having,
that's right.
Sorry. What's the word? Having a hookup with you.
Right.
See, the girl thinks, but see, I gave myself to him. He loved my body. He kissed me passionately.
Right.
And the girls think that sometime in the future, he's going to remember how sexy you were and how wonderful, and he's going to come back and try to find you.
And fall in love with her.
Right. And fall in love with her.
Yeah.
And we think that girls tend to believe.
And you came up with a good word or good phrase.
Yeah. That lust, when a girl thinks of the word lust, she thinks it's pre-love. It's lust is pre-love. That it's
somehow they're interconnected.
Yes, it is. That you dangle the little lure out. You lure him in with your seductive clothes and cute. And you just think you're being cute. You're just being cute. You think, okay, if somebody thinks badly about me, well, he's just being bad. That's his problem. But the majority of good men are going to just think you're cute. So is lust pre-love, Arthur?
No. That's no. It is not. And I know that's hard for young girls to accept but they have to understand the way a girl thinks is not the way a man thinks. It is just simply isn't. Men don't think in those terms under those conditions. So he can lust after a woman and not even think she's pretty. She's flashing a lot of chest and leg and all kinds of things, spandex, over every wrinkle and curve in your body, and not even think they're pretty, because just because she's showing body parts. There's nothing special about her except he gets a peep show, a living, walking peep show every time he goes into Walmart or Target or something, because everything's spandex now. Every cotton picking thing is spandex, and women don't understand. That is not something that a man would not think twice about you. If you were to say, "Hey, did you see so and so in the store?" Some woman in the store, they'll be like, "I don't remember. I just remember the spandex." I mean, they're thinking of a body part or body parts. So, but there's nothing special about her except for that body part.
Oh, well, that's all she cares about, Arthur. She wants to be special for that body part.
Yeah, but those body parts aren't any more special to him than any other girl's body parts. They're not special. The person that person right there with the slit way up or the super spandex, they're not special. And it could be her.
So that's not a good lure, is what you're saying.
It is absolutely not a good lure. Plus, here's the thing: you're going to be luring all the lurid. I mean, all the dirty young men, dirty old men. The whole pretty woman thing is a lie. It's just a lie. Has it ever happened? I don't know, probably. But on average, that's not what happens. You actually, they end up resenting you over trying to make it any more than lust. Lust doesn't want a good girl.
Okay, but okay. So what you're saying is, if a girl wants a man to be interested in her,
right,
and he wants to talk to her, and he wants to she wants him to get to know her,
right,
and so that's what she thinks is going to happen when she, she looks at herself and she goes, "Oh, I'm just being cute." So does it? What does it do to a man? Does a guy think?
Cute is really misused. They'll put on spandex, that's like micro thin, and they're basically in underwear or almost naked. That, I'm telling you, that is not attractive to guys.
So does that bring? But girls think that's the door into interest to her.
No, that's the door into just lust. That's it.
Yeah, but a woman doesn't understand what lust means. So
to a man,
a woman wears what she thinks is cute clothes,
right,
and a man comes up and starts talking to her and flirting with her, or stares at her.
Right.
So, so what you're saying is,
men don't admire that.
No, but what I mean is, that's not going to cause him to be interested in her.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. No, that's the misunderstanding that young girls and in this society, all women out there wearing this micro spandex stuff and worse, is that doesn't mean you're interesting to them at all. It means that you're standing there in your underwear, and it's
but Arthur, you have to admit, they're getting attention. That's what they want. They want attention, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. When I want,
you're talking about a very, very short-lived attention. It's kind of like having a big violent wreck out on the freeway. and you have to look at it. It's like, oh no, you're a walking wreck. And I mean, that doesn't grab the heart of a man to love or be interested in anything except lust. That's it.
Okay. Well, let's continue this discussion, because I feel like we really need to thoroughly get through this, because girls don't understand it. I know, and I will tell you, it's interesting. Leanne Morgan, the comedian, the female comedian, she talks about, how her husband just came after her because she was wearing little breeches. Just, my husband fell in love with me because I wore little breeches and I was so cute. Well, that's how most women, most women do not understand men's lust.
Right.
They think, again, it's pre-lust leads to love.
That's right.
It's a pre-love.
That doesn't bring out, lust does not bring out love in a man. In fact, a lot of times it stops the actual love in a man.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that is a big con Hollywood is giving all these women, first to sell spandex, but to think that they can be completely immoral.
Yeah, but these girls don't know they're being immoral, Arthur. I don't think so. They may know, maybe I shouldn't want so much attention.
Right.
But I don't think they really understand what lust is.
But you have to admit,
because they're wanting to be a wife.
Right. That's what I was going to say. A prospective wife. And that's not what a lustful man is looking at when they're lusting after you. They're not saying, oh, you're a prospective wife. No, not at all. You're nothing more than a number. Take a number. You're part of the body count. That's what you mean in that situation. That's what lust brings out in a man. If that's the inroads you're trying to get to him, wrong inroads, because one, you'll become a faceless entity.
You're nothing to him.
You were nothing to him.
Oh. Okay, so again, girls do not know how, in general. Now, again, I'm talking from the time, because the 70s and 80s, when I was an adult, or becoming an adult, was in the 1970s, 80s. And I would say we truly believed that we could achieve like a heart bond with a man through getting sexual attention from him. I mean, they're kissing you. They're acting like they're madly in love with you. They're kissing you and telling you how beautiful you are.
Right. And Hollywood's telling you the same thing.
Yeah, but you know what? But Arthur, it really does happen in real life. So what you're saying is that a man can do that and still not love you?
Right. It leads him to sexual deviancy, at that point. Lust is actually an insult to the woman.
Really?
It is an absolute insult to the woman. He's saying, I don't have time for you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to remember your face.
You know, that's interesting. I think that mothers and fathers out there, save this video and give it to your daughters, or read it off to them, because I just don't think most women
think of this. Think of it this way. What is so powerful now is porn. It's a huge pandemic right now. And why do you think that would be? If all it took was for a girl to be a little spandexy, low cut, whatever, right? And get this guy to sleep with her. Why would porn be such a big deal then? It's because you were a faceless nothing to him. Lust is an insult to you. I must repeat that.
I would say actually bad girls do. Okay, the porn for the guy is one thing, but the girl wants to get the man to look at her,
right?
And admire her. And so there's a lot of girls. And I've talked, and I would have never been in that situation. I wouldn't have wanted to do porn,
right.
But still, a woman thinks men are out there admiring her. So when you talk to a girl about porn, she's a lot of these naive girls are going to think, oh, well, you know, these men are admiring me.
No, you're in a part when you start there in lust,
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult to ever cross over to love with that. That's why porn's such it's this addictive, you're distant, it's a faceless entity, you're nothing. For instance, here's one way to look at it. Everybody likes potato chips, right? You are nothing more than a potato chip to a guy. When you enter that route of lust,
yeah, but men like potato chips.
they like potato chips. But you know what? I can get another bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of potato chips.
In other words, you're nothing but one potato chip
No,
that gets completely forgotten. And
once you have that potato chip, I've had enough of Doritos. I want Pringles. And it's
well,
like,
but I mean,
there's no bond to him through that. Mm-hmm. In fact, he runs from a bond because that's not what lust leads you to. Like I said, this faceless, loveless world, and that's how guys think. And you know, you'll have, of course, there's always a difference. There are those guys out there. Not everybody's like that. That's true. But porn is a huge problem for a reason. Okay? It's a big deal. It's potato chips. And you don't have to be involved with it. You don't have to raise potato chips kids. You don't have to, you can just change potato chips at a drop of a hat and that's it.
Mm. So, okay. I am going to ask you some questions and then I think I'm going to get back to that thing in a minute. But okay. My question is, how can a woman wearing modest clothing, how can wearing modest clothing give her an advantage over girls wearing tight clothes?
Even men that can't iterate this, can't verbalize it. Men want mystery. They want mystery. They want they don't want to look at the wreck in the middle of the freeway all the time. Mm-hmm. or ever, a lot of times. But guys want that mystery. Mm-hmm. And when you wear modest clothes, I'm not talking about granny clothes. I mean, people tend to jump off the cliff when you say modest. Mm-hmm. You know, they just go crazy with that. It's like, oh, you're saying I should wear everything to the floor and baggy.
Right.
What I'm saying
Ellen White clothes.
That's right. Wearing nice clothes brings out an immediate love response and respect response and in men, and they want to get to know you, but they want to get to know you in it differently. It's not that they aren't sexually attracted to you, but they aren't immediately thinking of one thing, of your left breast or your split up the side of your leg or something like that. If girls understood how man thinks, nice girls would think it's gross. It's just gross how they think. It's not a flattering thing. It's not a warm, tender, loving thing. It is a very cold, selfish.
I know I like that word that you just used because see, you and I have talked about this enough where I think girls need to hear that. If a girl understood how a man lusted at you, after you, you would think it's gross.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't, it's not doing what you think it's doing. It's not flattering.
Right. Lust is like putting a bag over your head.
Yeah.
And how do you get love out of that? That's not.
Yeah.
Right. So, and understand something. Lust, it doesn't turn to a sweet emotion, a sweet love, an endearing. I want you of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I'll once we're married, I'll ravage you forever. You know, type of good, holy Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to sound like I just want to repeat it for emphasis, but I have a question. A girl naturally doesn't separate sex and love. To a lust to a lust to a girl just means, woo, he's really turned on when he looks at me.
Right.
They have a hard time separating sex and love.
Right.
And could a lustful thought in a young man for a single young man and a single young girl, can that grow into love?
I would say no. And here's my distinction here. Okay.
Mhm.
Lust is just like I just got through saying, put a bag over your head and that's it. You're a potato chip. You can be very attracted. No experience of how to.
Just give a second, because we stopped. Okay, pause now.
Okay. You don't want to trigger the lust in a man. And I can hear women saying, well, I want them to want me. Well, they will want you, but you don't want to trigger it through a lustful avenue of put a bag over your head and you're another potato chip. That's not the avenue you want, because that doesn't end up in a tender love and a passionate love for you that he'll do anything for you for the rest of his life. You're just a potato chip.
Okay. So I don't let him peek at your body, girls.
Yeah.
Don't, because it's not what you think it is. It's gross what men think. And it's not just porn, and everything associated with lust is not what it's not going to make a girl feel loved. It's going to make her feel used and abused and cast aside.
Right.
And it's going to destroy her.
That's right.
I mean, it
actually destroys both.
Yeah.
It destroys men. I mean, porn just is a crushing thing that ruins people. And it then ruins relationships, and it ruins the poor women out there that want to be loved. And that's not the avenue you want.
So, yeah.
Modesty is absolutely important, especially nowadays. And don't worry, they're going to look at you anyway. You dress nicely, those boys are going to look at you.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Guys want to look at you. Guys have all kinds of different likes. Some like short, tall, all the varied everything. And that's good. God made us that way.
Good.
But God did not make us to for lust. That's the crushing demon of that.
Thank you for I'm glad we talked about this, Arthur, because I think this is just something that all young women need to hear.
Absolutely. All young men.
Right. But I think young women don't realize. I didn't.
No, that's right.
And I don't think men realize how naive women are. I think men assume
that's
women
100% right. That's right.
Think of lust as they're thinking, and gross and disgusting. And I think most good girls just want men to look at them, and they want to be attractive, and they misunderstand what lust is.
That's right.
So we probably have
that's right.
gone through that enough. So did you have anything else you wanted to say? I just
don't
want to cut you off.
No, we will be back again.
I think we're coming back tomorrow for a little bit. We're going to be talking about some other things that are, I think, Sabbath issues. I can't remember, but I think it's something about, I think it is.
All right. Well, God bless you. Thank you. And
have
a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.